The paranormal, UFOs, monsters, mysteries. You're listening to Talking Weird. And now, from a cabin deep in the Northwoods, your hosts, Dr. Dean Bertram and Jenn Durrell.
Well, hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Talk about a night of crisis that nobody experienced except our poor guest who's currently sitting in the green room.
Yes. I recently switched my computers and moved everything around, and I don't know what happened, but anyways, nothing wanted to work tonight. One of those.
Well, I know what happened for me. I tripped over a cable, and my Canon camera, my Zoom recorder, and my laptop all came smashing to the ground. Thankfully, none of them are broken, but what a start to the show. It's going to be a good one. That means something.
Yeah, it should be.
To go ahead. Now, before we start talking about your investigation last week and tonight's wonderful guest, I just wanted to very quickly thank somebody who's a regular viewer. I'm not sure if they watch Talking Weird. I know they watch My Weird Library, which, as I mentioned, is about to transform into Mysterious Library on the Untold Radio Network, just as Talking Weird is moving there. But a regular commentator on, or somebody who leaves comments all the time on my Weird Library videos, and they're always very thoughtful, is Horace A. Smith. He's a professor, an emeritus professor at, I think, where's he at? He's at Michigan State University. And he's an emeritus professor of astronomy and physics. So this is like a high-end, thinker. Anyway, he sent me this wonderful book because I do the My Weird Library book show, Willimantic Skies, which is a book he wrote. And I'll just read the back of it. I can't wait to read it. In 1719, a red sky alarmed Puritans. In 1883, sunsets blazed like fire. In 1909, Christmas shoppers gaped at a mystery airship. In 1910, a comet brought fears of poison gas. Anyway, it goes through all these things that people were looking at the skies over the years above where he's from originally, how do you pronounce that? Willimantic, Connecticut. But what a wonderful. So if you're watching, Horace, thank you so much. Also, I can't wait to read it. Super excited to get that. It was sitting on my doorstep when I came home from my daughter's homeschooling orientation day yesterday, which I live in the middle of nowhere in a cabin in the woods. So it was like a 3-hour round trip, 150 something miles. When I came back, it was a nice surprise waiting for me. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. And just a quick hello to everybody saying howdy. Here goes State. There you go. And also, hey babies to Ed. Anyway, you were just almost 2 weeks ago, you were on a rather fascinating sounding paranormal investigation. Can you tell us a little bit about that location?
Well, I went to the McInteer Villa in Atchison, Kansas, and it is a very grand Victorian style type of kind of mansion. And it's very active. Unfortunately, when I went there, I didn't get a whole lot of good footage just because I was so excited. I couldn't decide where I wanted to start. But I did end up getting a couple of things. So hopefully I can figure out where all those are at, because I would like to kind of share some of those. But who we have tonight ended up staying and hanging out with us and investigating with us. So that was quite a treat, because I wasn't really expecting the owner to actually investigate with us. So that was very nice of her.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah. So do you want to go ahead and just...
Sure. I was waiting for you to do the intro, but I'll do it. Yeah. Without any further ado, welcome to the show, Stephanie O'Reilly.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
Greetings.
Hello.
So how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing good. Just electronic issues, as you know.
Right.
So let's kind of begin our little conversation with just tell us some history of the McInteer Villa that you know.
That I know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was built in 1889 for John
Mm-hmm.
McInteer, who is from Ireland. He was a saddle and harness maker. I don't know if it's going on, if you can hear me okay.
Yes.
He was also into real estate. He was one of the wealthiest men in Kansas. He had the largest convention hall in Kansas. It held 2,000 people. It was just down the street from the McInteer Villa. Right now it's Valley State Bank. So I don't know much about Mr. McInteer. I can't find a picture of him.
Yeah.
So what I do know about the house, it's had 9 documented deaths. One was a suicide. It was a boarding house from 1925 to 1952. And I bought the house 4.5 years ago.
Yeah. So what made you decide to buy it though?
Someone told me no.
Someone told you no.
Yep. Someone told me no. Well, it's weird because I'm not obsessed with like anything, but there was something about this house. I live like an hour away from the house, and I just kept driving by. And one day I just called my mom and I was like, hey, you want to co-sign on a haunted house? And she talked to my dad, and then she called me back a few minutes later and she's like, your dad will do it. And I'm like, what? Okay. So that's how that got started. So my dad co-signed on a house.
So, okay. So I totally understand that because I find myself intrigued by certain locations too. And of course, McInteer is one as well. So when the first time I went there, I was at that event that the Stoffords had put on. And I had that experience with the doll that's in the cabinet, which you call her Esmeralda.
Yes.
And the cabinet opened by itself. To me, that was an indication that she was trying to communicate with me or scare me, who knows. But either way, I feel more intrigued and compelled to go there. And the only thing is that when I never had a chance last time because I wanted to sleep in that room, but I had my nephew, which I'm not going to say anything about my nephew, but he was a little scared.
I actually had no idea he was scared. I thought he was super brave.
No. Yeah. I wanted to sleep in that room, but there was just no way. And I knew I couldn't leave him alone. So,
right.
So all of that didn't happen. So hopefully I'll come back there again and actually get to have my time with Esmeralda and see if anything happens. But I totally understand why you were intrigued to go back to that place.
Yes, they're just something is drew me to it, I guess. And here we are.
Yeah. So about the location, like what would you say is like the biggest hot spot in the house?
Oh gosh, I would honestly say the bathrooms. It's weird. The bathrooms. And I don't know if maybe it's the second floor hallway. I think the entire second floor just feels different to me. A lot of people don't like the basement. There are 7 rooms. It looks like you're going to get murdered. But something about that second floor. I'd rather be in the basement alone than on that second floor.
Yeah.
It's just a weird. So I don't know. The bathrooms and the second floor.
So what's with the bathrooms? Like I understand on the top, the hallway one, but the one that I end up using a lot, you had mentioned that one was also kind of haunted. So what's the story with that one? That one's the one that's
the main floor.
Yeah.
Yes, that one. I used to say that entire room, including the bathroom, was the least active. And a friend said she thinks it's the most active. I'm like, it's not, but it actually is a lot more active than I thought. Little things like my hair dryer was on the back of the toilet, and I walked out of the bathroom and it fell down, which is no big deal, except I have a camera in the room, not the bathroom, but you can see into the bathroom if the door is open. And so I got on the camera and you can see it like pulling up on the cord and yanking my hairdryer down.
Ooh.
Something about when little kids go in that TV room or the
Mhm.
bathroom area, they hate it. So, and we've had little kids say, no, not, well, I'm saying not real kids, but kids we can't see. You can hear like a little
Yeah.
girl say, "Mom." I mean, quite a few times calling out for mom. Not too long ago, there was something said, "We don't need her. She can leave." I don't know who they're talking to. Probably me, but 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 that is also the room that I sleep in. If I'm there by myself sleeping, I mean to spend the
Yeah.
night, I stay in that room just because I can close the doors and I'm in an enclosed space. I wouldn't want to sleep out in the open area where you guys slept.
Yeah, exactly. No, since we chose that because it had, you know, 2 little sofa couches. And so I was like, well, let's sleep here. So of course my nephew, he's smart. He goes and gets the one that's next to the window. So I'm like, okay, I'll sleep on the pink one. And I'm like, I lay down, I'm like,
right.
You can't close those doors. I tried to
Right.
kind of shut it off. And
Yep.
so I just had the whole entryway right there, the staircase, and I felt it all. It was really hard to sleep. Somebody came up behind me and kind of messed with my back a little bit. And so I have a clip of it. I can see if I can find it though.
There's something about that room. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And I caught something too, because right around the same time, I went ahead and looked at my phone and I'm like, well, now I can't go back to sleep because I felt it. So I laid there for a little bit and was messing with my phone. And a woman comes through, actually my Mac, the one that I'm using right now, the Mac laptop. And you can hear a woman. So I don't know how she even got her voice into it because the ACs were running. We had fans going. And she says something, but I can't really tell. It's really fast. And it makes me think of Ernest, which probably isn't what she said, but
that's my dad's name, and he's there. That's weird. You didn't know that?
You call him Ernie, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Huh. So where did I was going to show you that one. And everything got messed up when I was messing with all these files, which I kind of wonder why I'm having all these issues now because I was messing with all the McInteer footage and everything's just been haywire since then. Oh, there's my Terry. So I work with Terry. So I don't know where I stuck that, but if I don't find it here, then I'll show it to you later. But yeah, that was kind of neat.
That's crazy. There's something about that room lately that people have gotten a female saying a lot of things. Not too long ago, there were 2 women from Dallas that she saw a full body apparition walking through that main stairwell area right outside the piano room door. And she described her. Yeah.
I'm actually friends with one of the ladies. She posted it and talked about it. And she got the EVP.
Yes.
And then she posted that. That was pretty cool. What was it that she said? I'm trying to find your page.
Something I won't, oh gosh.
I'll find it because I'm going through the Facebook page because I know you've got some really good clips.
And there's another clip of some women sleeping in the piano room and they heard a woman crying.
Mm-hmm. That one's really good. Really, really good. So while I'm searching for that, do you want to talk about one of your more compelling experiences that you had that really kind of scared the crap out of you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't get scared that easily, but but there's maybe it's because I'm at the house more than any. I mean, I still go to other places, and I still want to find that place that's where I'm just like, no, I'm out, I'm done. So I've not found that yet, but I have up and left the villa, sometimes in the middle of the night because it just feels off. But probably one of the creepiest was there's a room off of the kitchen that I do lock off to to guests. I'm going to eventually open it up. What used to be the kitchen. I had taken my son to the airport, and I live in Lawrence, about an hour away from the house. But I took him to the airport, and I had a group checking in that day. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to go to the villa and just take a nap. So I went there, and when I'm there and I'm not there to do anything really, I put my headphones on because I don't want to hear anything. And something just went like, Stephanie, through my headphones. And I'm like, no. And I threw them. I'm like, I'm done with this house. I can't do it. It was just because that's my safe spot, is my headphones. Yeah. Or this has only happened once, and I did leave this time too. I would go into the kitchen and get a spoon out, come back, that same drawer is wide open. I'd get a plate out of the cabinet's wide open. And it was doing it all day. I'm like, I don't do this at home. To where I was taking pictures of the things that were open. And then at the end of the day, I was going into my room to go to sleep, and I turned around and every cabinet and drawer that I had been in was wide open. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm done.
Oh, wow.
And that's only happened once. But that was enough for me. I was good. The footsteps on the second floor, that is very uncomfortable. And I call the person like breathy, like when they say something in your ear, like just,
yeah.
I've heard, like I came in to help or to investigate with a friend named Brenda and her brother. And I got there and I went to the stairs. I'm like, okay, we're coming up. Are you ready? And something said, no. And I just thought it was one of them because it was right. I was just like, no, it was perfect timing. And it wasn't. Yeah. And so that's the breathy I don't like.
That's so creepy. I got to your page that you have on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And so let me see. I want to put this back and then put the volume up. See if it comes through. Can you hear it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Nothing. Okay.
I heard a beep sound.
That was my phone.
Oh.
Sorry.
So Steph, while Jen's looking for this, tell me, did Esmeralda come with the house, the creepy doll?
No, she didn't. A friend of mine had sent me a message, and she saw this creepy doll on weird Facebook thrift store finds. And it just said, 1800s marionette doll, human hair, possibly haunted. And I don't want people thinking I'm bringing things in because they're haunted. I want people to know it's the house. But I mean, a doll with human hair. So I don't know what she was thinking, because the next day I made her come with me to Arkansas to go get her. So joke's on her. Joke's on her. But so that's where Esmeralda came from. And I just came up with the name. I've been told that she's actually a he. I have no idea.
Gosh. Ken Rock said he thought you had the mute on, but then he said he's mistaken. I was just going to give you the...
No, I'll have to use it on my Mac. I think it's because I have all my volume down on this one. So I got to move to this one. Still learning.
Have you had an Esmeralda experience yourself, Steph? I'm fascinated with the creepy doll, as you can probably tell.
I have. Yes, I have. Actually, I had a girls' night once. This was kind of close to the beginning of me buying the house, and nothing was happening. I mean, like nothing. I haven't apologized to the girls. I'm like, I can't schedule an appearance. I'm sorry. We're going to have to do this again sometime. Well, the next day, somebody had sent me a text, and they're like, check your security camera, because that's where I get lots of EVPs. People ask me to check the cameras, and I try to check them. Sometimes I suck at it. But I checked the camera, and I had actually asked the doll, are you happy that we're here? And she said, no, I'm not. Stupid, dumb, B word. and this evil laugh. And we didn't hear any of it. Nothing. So that to me is a kind of creepy. I think it's also kind of funny. But I tell people the house is so interactive. Like I have no idea when it just chiming in. But yeah, it did call me a stupid, dumb B word.
Yeah.
But just not too long ago, I was in the dining room with a friend, and we heard some tapping. And so we're trying to find the tapping, and I played the camera back just to see what the tapping sounded like. and
Mhm.
something said, "That's not it." So we're like, so it's just,
Yeah.
it's, you never know when they're just, I could be called a stupid dumb B word every time I'm there. I have no idea. I probably am.
Let me oh, no.
No, you're
I
not. I'm
probably
sure.
am.
No. No way. I think I got it. I had to use my Mac, unfortunately. So let's see if this goes. So we can hear the AC. I think it's kind of loud. Let's see. That's down in the basement.
Yep, you can still hear it in there. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, that one's really creepy.
Yeah. It's weird because I have heard that noise before, and I've heard it when I was in the basement. And I tell people, I'm like, you can hear, I've heard a lady moaning, like not a
Mhm.
good moan, like a bad moan. And that's just, I assumed it was a moan, but it sounded just like that. But they heard a woman crying, and that's what the camera picked up.
Yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
any
Trying to
idea of
see.
what? Do you have any idea of what that is, Steph? Like, has anybody brought forward any theories or?
I have no one's said anything. Just I have no idea. No clue.
Sometimes it makes me wonder if
Mm-mm.
it wasn't so Charles had done something, and we haven't really spoken about him, like the 9 documented deaths, but he was one, and it would make sense that someone would cry
Right.
if that they witnessed it or came upon it and knew what happened.
Right. And that area that by that main stairwell, that is actually used to be the main front door. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
somebody got bad news, or maybe, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have no idea. But there's something about that area lately that a female is coming through quite a bit. I don't
Yeah.
think it could be Goldie, who died in the rocking chair around the corner. I don't know. It could be one of Mr. McInteer's second wife. I mean, her son is the one that committed suicide.
Yeah.
Although she'd already
Mhm.
passed, but I don't know.
Was he married though, Charles?
No, he was not married.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
But then, of course, there's also the rumors that they had talked about down in the basement, possible abortions or illegal things like
Yes.
that happening down there.
Yes. Yep. That's actually what comes to mind for me first, is probably
Mhm.
something like that. Now I don't know what the basement was used for, so I tell people I don't have documentation. It's just what people have told me that have come in and they felt possibly illegal abortions, possibly illegal adoptions. I have heard babies crying down there.
Mhm.
I've had people tell me that they've heard kids down there. I've heard kids down there. There's
Yeah.
definitely an angry person down there.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, especially in the back. I mean, 7 rooms in a basement. It's kind of crazy. But one of the rooms with the 2 curtains in the very far back is probably the most uncomfortable. Um,
Mhm.
but that's also the room that's the room that's right below the piano room where you guys slept. That's the same room where I heard the moaning or the crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some footage too of what David ended up getting. So
Oh,
I'm going to
yes.
see if I can, because it's mainly on my phone. So hang on a second.
While you try to pull that, Joe Fox, one of
Sure.
our most regular and favorite listeners, viewers, asked, how far back do the reports of haunting activity go at the house, Steph?
Mr. and Mrs. Girardi actually bought the house in 1969 from Goldie, who they are the ones that found Goldie dead in her rocking chair. But they bought the house from her, let her stay there. They reported that they have Mrs. Girardi was on like Channel 9 News here in Kansas City. The Kansas City Star paper had an article that she wanted nothing to do with the ghosts. She was like, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. But she did, they were on the haunted trolley tour in Atchison. They every once in a while would do some haunted events a couple times a year. So Mrs. Girardi actually she said she had seen a little girl, a little boy. She saw a woman in a white dress, a woman in a pink dress. So she saw apparitions. And they bought the house, like I said, in 1969. That's all I know. So I'm assuming that Goldie had experiences too, but I obviously don't know.
Yeah. One of your clips, and I think that was the one you just talked about, where somebody had gotten another woman talking. Makes me kind of wonder if it wasn't Goldie, just because of the general area that you guys were in.
Oh, right.
What was it that they said? The woman?
Oh, you're talking about the two ladies.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. She said, I have it right here. Oh goodness. Okay.
It was just the tone of her voice.
Yes. Oh gosh. I can't remember. I know I have it here somewhere. Okay, here it is. She said she heard, I don't do a standby.
Yeah.
So I get if that's the same one you're talking about. So she actually saw the full body apparition, and then I think she said they were about to go to bed in the piano room, or at least she was going to go to sleep in the piano room, and she saw a woman walking by the main stairwell area for like 3 to 4 seconds, and she watched her walk across the room, and she said so after that she was going to put this recorder on the middle landing of the main stairs. And she says, like, okay, I'm going to put this recorder on the chair, and a female says, I don't do a standby. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna, yeah. So she was like, okay, bossy.
Yeah.
She said she heard it like real time. And so, yeah,
that's awesome that they caught that.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. So those are the things that make me the most uncomfortable. I get screamed at a lot, like on my recorders. I mean, I get a lot. I do.
Yeah.
I'd rather get the screaming than the regular conversations, because to me that makes me a little uncomfortable. It's kind of like they're just going about their business, and which seems weird to me, but I just think of the movie The Others, and I'm like, am I the dead one? Which is so bizarre to say. So, but that's what pops in my head. I'm like, am I the dead one? So that sounds weird.
Sounds weird. Sometimes I think about that stuff too when I'm investigating, like, so we're all in these different dimensions, and what can they see?
Right. Yes.
How come we can't see them? And that's a good movie too.
It's such a good movie.
I found a couple of the things here that David, because once I got the files, because you ended up letting us borrow a couple of your security cameras, I believe.
Oh yeah,
and you put a couple of the little chips in there, or SD cards, and then I grabbed them all. Nothing, not a darn thing. So I told him, I was like, please tell me you at least screen recorded something. And he's like, yeah. So this is what he recorded. Let me get this back, because it was already trying to play a second ago. Well, this was one of the first ones. There's only 2, so let's see if this plays. I really can't make out if that's us talking in the background or what.
Right.
Let me grab. You're going to end up seeing my OneDrive there. Okay, so this is around the time when we were trying to rest. So 3:46. This is probably around the time you stayed, almost till 4. So
Right.
I know David's like, oh my God, you've got to listen to this. He's like, I can't with this guy because the whole time we put that down there, he was just like pounding that camera trying to get it to come down. And finally, this one you can kind of hear him like exhausted, like, just why won't this camera come down? So you can hear him a little bit. Let's see if it'll do it again. But I think you probably have to have headphones on for that one. But that one kind of scared him because you could actually hear the vocal tones.
Do you remember the one he captured in kind of the beginning and it played music in the basement? And
well,
we were
that
like,
one,
"What's that music."
Yeah, that one that he just didn't keep it.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
lot of things missing. I do have, let me see, I put some stuff under, oh gosh. And, of course, electronics don't want to work. McInteer Villa. Okay. Sorry. So, remember when he had mentioned that he saw a cat? That was another thing.
Yes.
So I do have a video of the hallway cat. That's what I have it down as. So I ended up catching this with the wrong one. Oops, sorry. Wrong one.
That's my potty mouth.
Where is it? Okay, so then it's in. We'll scroll through my photos again. Sorry, but I had all of this. I was trying to get all this stuff ready beforehand, but then that's when I had all my issues with the electronics going crazy. So let's see if this one hopefully is it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that one. But I did have some other video too, and I've just got to find it. I don't know where it went after I saved it. So I'm using Premiere Pro. So I'm still learning it. And I lost where I saved it. And it has, I kind of was going through doing some B-roll too while you were there. And as I was going up the steps at the same time that the hallway caught, the camera in the hallway caught the cat was meowing as I was going up the stairs with the camera.
Yes, that was loud.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yes. I wish I would have gotten the, and gosh, I don't know why I must have accidentally erased it because it's me. So, but when it cussed at you, or was it cussing at me? Might have been. I don't know. What did
Was
it
it when
cuss
you
in the
left it in the-
basement? Because I think you were doing the Estes, weren't you?
Yeah, and I have that clip because I was going to show it, darn it, and I don't know where it went. So when I'm doing the Estes, I ended up saying F you because that's what came through. And you ended up putting your Panasonic voice recorder in the other room. And then when we went back to check it, right after I said F you, it says, this was clear as day because all the other ones were like these gruff muffles and he's the whole time.
Right.
This time it was F what? Like there was inflection in the voice. Like, are you talking to me?
Yes.
So I was like, oh man.
Yeah. And then I erase it.
Yeah. Well,
Have
I
you
told myself I just needed to start recording those too, so that way I've got them on the video.
do you have many phantom cat stories of your own, Steph, while we're on the phantom cat?
I have just a few. Like, I've never had a cat, so I don't know what cats do. It sounds weird, but I mean, I've heard a cat meow a few times, but when it wraps its tail around your ankle and there's nothing there, it freaked me out. But there is a few times a few people will say like, I just kicked something solid. There's nothing here. And I'm like, oh, like a cat? And they're like, yeah, just like a cat, which is weird to me. I don't know how you kicked a cat. Yeah. But I guess if you have a cat, you know what it feels like to kick a cat. But so quite a few people have said they felt like they kicked a cat. A few people have heard the cat. A few people have seen the cat. And like David said, he saw it on the dining room table.
Yeah.
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 But, so lately people have been like in the kitchen. Somebody actually told me they thought it was so loud they thought it was that I actually had a cat and it was sitting on the kitchen counter. But not too long ago we heard there were some friends and we heard a cat and I'm like, oh my God, there's the ghost cat. And the girl was like, no, that's a cat outside. And I'm like, no, it's not. And so I got on the outside camera. Well, she was right. It was like cats fighting. So it was a real cat. But then you hear somebody on the inside going, cat, 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 which is very crazy. And I'm like, so that was weird.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. Yes. But there's a lot of people with potty mouths there. Lots of cussing, nothing like evil. I mean, even though it called me names, but that's who doesn't? I mean, no big deal. So I think it's all good.
Oops. Sorry, I'll quit jacking with that. I was hoping I could find it, but I don't think I can. So you've had a lot of people that have mentioned the cat. So talk about Charles just a little bit, because I do know that you get a lot of crazy EVPs with him, and especially in the bathroom. And then I know when you would leave it in the other bathroom, you'd kind of get the same voice. So
yes. So Charles Donovan was Mr. McInteer's second wife's youngest son. He was, I want to say he's the only one that came here from Canada with his mom, and when she married Mr. McInteer. So he lived in the house from when he was 5 years old until he killed himself at 34. He joined, or he was in World War I. He went to France in 1918. He was never in battle. He contracted the Spanish flu and was in the hospital. Came home in 1919, and October 10th, 1922, the article says he had supper. He took a headache pill, went upstairs to his room, and I don't know which one was his room. I just kind of guess. Then went upstairs to his room and shot himself in the right temple with his own 22 caliber rifle, and it lodged in the left side of his brain for 2 hours, and then he died, is what the paper said. So he did die in the home. The two bathrooms, so there's a bathroom in the library and there's a bathroom at the end of the hall. But back in the day when the house was built, it was one room. So it could have been when that was a room before it was turned into two bathrooms. It could have been what I have as the library. I just assume it's not the three bedrooms or the three rooms across the hall, since they're connected. I assume that would have been his Uncle Charles's room.
Yeah.
But I do get lots of yelling in the bathroom. Now, I'm not saying they're yelling at me. Sometimes you can tell they're yelling at me, but I do ask them to speak into the red blinking light in the recorder. And if they're taking me literal, they're talking into it. That could be why it's very loud and just muffled. I mean, it could be that. I think it was last week. I was there on Friday night, and something had said. Again, I don't think I saved this one either, because that's what I do. But it said, like, get back here or don't go away, and you hear footsteps just walking away, and that was from the bathroom. So I'm not sure. I have no idea who it is. I assume it's Charles, but I don't know.
So I think I have something that you sent me, though. Because let me see if I could find that though, because you sent me, because I was trying to figure out if you still had that one EVP with the F what.
Oh,
And then you sent me this one, but I don't know if I can get it. Just so people have an idea. Let me get a little further back here on this one. That's the yelling. So it starts here in a second. He's saying get out. I don't know. I guess that was it on that one.
so I'm trying to figure out. I think that was in the main door entrance, or it was upstairs in the bathroom. And I just set them in there and walk away. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what. So I'm not sure what they were saying, but there's lots of get outs. I mean, lots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember saying, well, they're not saying please, so we're
Right.
good. And then
Yeah.
David was like, what if they say please? And I go, they never say please. And then it came through please, and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
Totally did.
Yeah. I forget what we were talking about. Was that we were doing Estes method, or when was
I
that?
think we were just sitting at the table, and
And then
it said like get out or something like that, and I was like, no, we don't have to get out because they didn't say please.
mm-hmm.
And then
Oh
it
yeah,
said
that's right. And
please.
then it said please.
Yeah. Yep.
Mothman 46 asked an interesting question, I think, in response perhaps to the upstairs suicide bullet to the head story. And he said, do any guests speak of pains in their heads? Like, do people who visit there ever get headaches or anything?
Yes. It's, I don't say it's kind of funny, but I've not experienced it. So it's interesting to me that, and like I said, I don't know what room he did it in, but some people will walk upstairs, and as soon as they get to the second floor, sometimes they just start crying. Some people feel like
Mhm.
all the emotions at once. Some people
Yeah.
have a horrible headache, and once they go downstairs, they're fine. The basement, a lot of people get like stomach cramps. They just feel nauseous. And
Mhm.
once they leave a certain room in the basement, they're fine. So yeah, lots of headaches, lots of like I said, all the emotions at once, especially in the library. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know I had a really bad migraine, but I don't know if that was just from the whole activity of the whole night or what. But it took me forever to get it to go away because I even have a recording of me just sitting there rubbing my head. And then I eventually I get myself to just relax. And then somebody walks up and jacks with my back.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm up. I'll just
Didn't
put my
David say
phone
he heard somebody come in and go, "Oh, forget it."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. David, at the time when it happened to me, because I remember I looked over at him and he was crashed. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll go to sleep. And so I went ahead and laid down, and that's when I had something come up to me. But when I looked over, he was still asleep. So I really don't know what time it was when he heard somebody come in, because he heard the footsteps and everything. We kept hearing a ting behind the fireplace too, especially where I was laying down. I could hear movement. Something just felt like it was just standing there.
Yeah, that tinking. It's kind of like, the glasses like tinking together.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's what Brenda had heard when she was there, and we were trying to mimic that tinking. And so we thought it was just one of the, I don't know what it's called, the hardware on the pocket door. So we thought it was that, and that's
Yeah.
when something said, "That's not it." And
Yeah.
so that's that tinking noise. Yeah. Oops, there's my thumb in the way. So yeah, that tinking noise, a lot of people hear. And actually today, I should post it, although I look stupid. But I'm in the break room. I look stupid. I'm in the break room. I got there because I'm getting things stocked for the group to check in. And as soon as I walk in, I heard knock, 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 and just kept knocking. And I'm like, I just turn around and I'm looking, and the look on my face looks dumb, but I'm just like, I don't know what that was. And so then I just turned around and just kept doing my thing. But it was weird because
Yeah.
there's nothing in there. There's no ice maker. It's not the refrigerator. I mean, but as soon as I walked in, something is knocking. It was weird. Yeah. So, but I'm not one of those people that, so when I ghost hunt, I like the scared feeling. So I know a lot of people go into it like, who's here? Why are you here? How'd you die? You know, that stuff. And I get it. I like to be scared, and then, which is so weird. And then it's like a roller coaster. And then I just want to do it again.
Yeah. The
like.
adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like to challenge myself, but yeah. Of course, me, I want to get down to the nitty gritty of trying to figure out why the heck they're still hanging around, you know? Because
Right.
who doesn't want to know the answers of the afterlife, like what's really happening afterwards? So that's my whole big thing.
Or like, why would you be attached to I mean, like you saw the little kid's rocking chair that I just brought like the day before, I think.
Yes.
Somebody told me something, I don't know, it was attached to, of course I'm going to go get it. I mean, that's what I do. So, no, I mean, I still want people to know it's the house and not the things I bring in. But why would, I mean, I guess my question would be, why would you, do you have an option? Like, do you want to be attached to that rocking chair? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Do you want to be attached to that grandfather clock? I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Something that Jen has said a number of times now, on both on Talking Weird and on some other videos she's made, is the idea that perhaps paranormal investigators have attachments that travel with them to a haunted location, and then that attachment might jump because it likes that location more than cruising around with the investigator. Do you find sometimes that people go through and you're like, there's something else here now?
Yeah, I do, but I never thought of it like that. I've always thought that, and I've told people before, I'm like, I think there are many spirits in the villa. I think that there are things, not to call them things, but that aren't a part of the villa. I think they just come and go. And I also think there are spirits that are attached to the villa. A few people have told me that there's something that follows me around to other locations. And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know. And so a friend of mine, we went to a location that it was just a residence that no one has lived in. No one has ever spent the night in it. So we didn't know what was going on. So we just asked, or she actually asked, where did you come from? And my recorder picked up very clearly, I came from the villa. And I'm like, well, get back there. People paid for an overnight. So I'm like, don't be here with me. But so it's kind of, so I don't know if something really does follow me around. I don't know, but that does make sense. Like, I mean, if you have, and then maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
how has the activity changed since you bought the house, or has it changed? Have you noticed a difference in what goes on there?
Yeah, when it's a lot more active. When I first bought the house, I had the library on the second floor as my room, and so when I did spend the night, I had just my stuff, and I would lock it off to people. But it was so active, like where I thought there is a human being in this house, and this is how I go out. I mean, it was that scary. It was terrifying, actually, like just banging on the doors. And I'm assuming it was kind of like, why are you here? Why aren't you leaving? Because the previous owners had the house since 1969. And then here I am in 2018. They're probably like, why are you here? Go away, I'm assuming. But it was terrifying. I mean, terrifying. That hasn't happened since the very beginning. But activity, I think, has picked up since I've started overnights. I don't know what, I don't know why. I do say that, so I'll filter. But so my dad, he helped me buy the house. He co-signed, and he passed away 2 years ago, April. And his ashes are there, and they're in the master bedroom in a locked case. But I walk by and I'm like, and I tap on the glass. I'm like, Dad, stir stuff up. And some people look at me like I'm bizarre, but I'm like, one, it keeps me from crying. Two, he would find it funny. Three, it's a business, stir stuff up. So whether he's doing it to help me, whether, I mean, you just said earnest, which was very crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even put two and two together at all. I was just like, why would they say that? And then you're like,
that's crazy. And so I do say that to him, like, and maybe he's doing it. I'm still the new person, I think, at the paranormal overnights, and I'm still getting my name out there.
Yeah.
Not everyone obviously has heard of the villa. So maybe he's just helping me, and it's maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing, or I guess I won't know until I pass away, but it has gotten a little more, it has gotten more active. I don't know if there's people just coming in and doing stuff.
yeah.
Everyone's been very respectful and nice and kind that I know of. So people, some people think, well, what if people like do something crazy in the basement? And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope not. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone that I've come across has been, of course, I trust everybody too. So they've all been very kind and very nice and very respectful.
That's good.
But I do tell them if they do have somebody with, I mean, they can always leave some extras if they want. I could use.
Oh yeah.
I could use more.
Well, I mean, like your dad, he can, since he's there, it's probably easier for him to even try to communicate, because once you've got all that other paranormal activity going on,
yes,
like kind of maybe, I don't know, portal's the right word, but maybe it's just easier for him to communicate, or maybe it's easier for him to kind of interact than
people
it would.
Have used the word portal lately. Yeah, and
you got a lot of mirrors. Got a lot of mirrors.
I have an ego.
And then you have that scrying mirror too at the end of the hallway,
yes,
which I think might be your issue with the hallway too.
That's only been there. That's been there only.
Oh, so that one hasn't been there very long.
No, that's been there less than a year. Yeah, I want to say maybe 6 months. So yeah, it's not been there. So it's not been there that long. So it's, I don't know what's up with that hallway. Something about that hallway just gets me. I don't know what it is. But in the books that I have on the dining room table, people do write. A lot of people have written that they've talked to my dad. I'm like, well, he doesn't talk to me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's probably
he probably does. You just don't recognize it.
I probably don't shut up long enough. Yeah.
Oops.
I'm
just plugging something in.
You mentioned before, Steph, that people say you might have an attachment. Have you ever been at home or somewhere and you've had any similar, I mean, your home that you live in, not the villa, and you've had experiences that are similar to what you've experienced at the villa?
I have not a lot, but there's times when I hear somebody walking down the hallway on the bedrooms here on the second floor, and you could hear somebody shuffling down the hallway to where it even wakes my dog up, and she hates everything. So she goes just crazy. Mm-hmm. And so, things like that. And I try not to even think like, what's here?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually not too long ago. It's funny you bring that up now, because I was in the bathroom getting ready, and I swear somebody just walked past the bathroom door, like in the hallway. And I'm like, no. Mm-mm. But I've actually done that at the villa, where the very beginning, when the library was my room, and so I was in the bathroom, I was getting ready, And I thought there's somebody just standing in that door. And so I looked over and I go, what? Because I just thought it was somebody I knew. Somebody was at the house. And there was nobody there. I'm like, okay. So that's what it was kind of like here just a few weeks ago. Somebody just walking down the hallway. And it was just a little weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know who it would be. Freaky. It's weird. It is, isn't it? And when it feels off, it feels off. And I tell people it's kind of like your little brother, like, I'm not touching you kind of thing.
Yeah. You could just feel it. Yeah. Especially, I know when I went to the bathroom, I put in my voice recorder when we left to go get something to eat. And when I feel like something's in another room, a lot of the times I feel like I have to knock and get permission to come in because you could just feel it. So, you know, I just knocked and said, I'm going to come in, you know, this is what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. And so as I opened the door, I kind of got startled because I felt like something jumped at me because at the same time, the cabinet went smack like that. So I'm like, sorry, I'm going to put this right here. I will be back in an hour.
That bathroom is, you know, today, actually, so I've told you that the bathrooms, well, 2 of the bathrooms, the water's turned on by themselves. One not too long ago was giving a tour, and the library bathroom, I'm like, what is that noise? And I turned around and the water was on full blast in the sink. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Well, today I'm at the house and I'm taking the trash out, waiting for the group to show up. And I just happened to look over I hadn't watered my roses and I don't even freaking know how long. The water was on. The sprinklers were on. I didn't turn them on. No, and I'm not saying that someone didn't just come by. I'm waiting for my water bill because I honestly do not know how long they've been on. Because I haven't checked in weeks, and I know it hasn't been on that long. But that's how bad I am at my roses. I haven't watered them in forever, but it was on. I'm like, I did not turn them on, and I got on my camera in the back, and I can't see anybody that's been back there that's turned them on. I'm like, let's not play with the water. Let's not do that. But so somebody actually has set their recorder. There was a group and they went out to dinner and they were gone she said they were gone like 2.5 hours. And the recorder it's not voice activated. But it only recorded 36 minutes. It was still recording when they got back. It never turned, somebody had turned it off and then turned it back on. But they heard something, walk down the hallway and then flush the toilet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right. It's crazy.
Gosh. Jen mentioned before that something lifted her shirt maybe when she was resting. Are there many reports of the entities or forces in the house physically messing with people? And particularly, are there any reports of scratches or any kind of physical harm done to anybody there?
People have gotten scratched. People have gotten their shirts tugged, especially like the back of their shirts. People, 2 girls, 2 weeks apart, both in the attic, got their bra straps snapped. I'm like, I'm sorry. There was a lady who slept in the master bedroom, and actually, I tell people now that it's something sometimes crawls in bed with. I've never heard them do it with a male, but a female. Something crawls in bed, but a girl has seen her sleeping bag being lifted up, and she was in the master bedroom, and then she said she felt all 4 fingers and the thumb just like playing with her stomach, and
creepy.
Yes, one girl said she got bit. A few people, and I'm like, how is that possible? But I was walking through the kitchen with somebody and she just yells like, ow. And I'm like, what? And she lifted her shirt up and it looked like bite mark on her stomach, which I don't know. But then David had scratches or burn marks.
I don't know if it'll show it. I'll have to put that through
because he was just sitting there and it was hot. I mean, but he didn't scratch his neck or anything, and it looked like a rope burn on the back of his neck.
Yeah, and then it ended up happening again later on at the night, except for it was one big long one. It wasn't as prevalent. I'm going to see if I did click the picture, so It should show up as it thinks about it. There. So there's 2 lines on that one side, and then, it was a little thicker on the other ones. But he didn't even touch his neck. I just asked him, even scratching, and he's like, no, why? And I'm like, let me take a picture of your neck.
No wonder the kid was scared.
That's when he got scared, because that was right when before we even left to go eat.
Yeah,
we were taking pictures outside.
And it was completely gone when I got back. And then when he was sitting at the end of the table, at the end of the evening, when I think I was about to leave, his neck, all of that was gone, but there was one big red line just down his
straight up
neck.
again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, another thing that happened too, I was hoping I could show all that, but I really don't know what happened to that file. But when I did my Estes, I was trying to relax, and remember we're having issues trying to figure out what sweep we wanted. Just there was all these issues we were having with at first, and so I ended up relaxing, and then all of a sudden I could just feel something hovering over and messing with me, and I started getting really flustered because my heart was pounding really, really fast. So it started going. So that's like usually my first indicator that something's happening or something's around me. And so I was just trying to work my way through it to relax myself. And then I could feel the cord move, and it just felt like something was trying to mess with me. I couldn't tell if it was trying to jump me or what it was trying to do, but the volume was going all the way up. So they kept messing with the volume. So of course I'm getting mad, because at the same time I feel like, this is trying to get, I don't know, to scare me, which it didn't. It just ended up pissing me off. So I'm, cussing it out like, you better effing stop this. You better turn it down, because I'm not going to play this game, kind of thing. And David kept saying that the K2 was going off the whole time by the doorway. So the whole time I was being jacked with, he said that it was just rising up and down. And I'm like, darn it, why didn't we have a camera on that? We don't think about that stuff until afterwards. Yeah.
And I was like, is her cord moving? And so we were looking at the cord, and you can see it just going back and forth. Yeah. It was totally messing with you.
Yep. Yep. He didn't want anybody in there, that's for sure. And so try to mess with me. So I got some of that recorded, but I wish I had the EMF, a video of that going off at the same time.
I know.
Do you ever have a sense, Steph, that anything in the house mightn't be a deceased human presence? Like there might be something darker or demonic?
I don't know. I don't know. Now the room, excuse me, that was cute. So the room that you were doing Estes in is probably my least favorite room in the basement, but it's also, so that means it's my favorite room to investigate, because it's creepy and uncomfortable. So that back corner, and your back was to that corner. There's something about that corner. Something stands there. But the thing is, I've also seen it crawl across the ceiling, and I've been told that actually not too long ago, somebody saw something crawl across the ceiling in the dining room. I don't think that would be a human thing. I don't know. Not saying demonic, but I don't know what that would be. But I have seen it, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
But I also, just like you said, you weren't scared. You were just like getting irritated and pissed. I go down there and like, you're not scary. Maybe you're just misunderstood. Yeah. And whether they're trying to be scary, I don't know.
Right.
I haven't asked I don't know if people have, I don't know. Are you supposed to ask if, I don't know.
Well,
how do you
no,
find out?
I think you would know, because see that I had this long discussion with David, and he was afraid it was demonic because of how I reacted and how it was, and he was very hostile. And the whole night, his notifications kept going off because it was just pounding the heck out of that, trying to get rid of it. He did not want anything in there. So I told him, like, here's what I figured out between an evil, demonic, never human presence and something that's been human at one point. And if it's demonic, it wants you in that room. It wants to play with you. It wants to F with you. It wants to screw with you. It enjoys it. It gets a kick out of it, you know? And so if it's something that just flat out doesn't want anybody in there, to me, at one point, probably was most likely human. It's just, I think once you separate yourself from that and you're no longer human, I think after a while you can manifest yourself in any way you want to be seen. So if it wants to scare the crap out of you, it can turn itself into some creepy little crawly thing that's on the ceiling. Because it doesn't want you in there, that kind of thing. I mean,
now the creepy thing to me is the second, like I said, the second floor. I don't know for sure. I just have a feeling that, so somebody has captured a little girl saying like very clearly, "Are you here to play with me right now?" And I just have a feeling like that's not a little girl. I don't know why. So that kind of thing, that is one of the big reasons. Plus the shadow person with the glowing eyes in the hallway.
Yeah, but the picture, I've seen that though, because with the eyes, because our eyes will look like that too. They'll reflect like that. So that's still kind of human to me.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Just the little
but it
girl
is a scary
thing.
picture.
Yeah. But I'd rather, I just think of that little girl voice.
Well,
but I don't
there's
know.
Also
it could be
something else that I've learned too with a lot of locations. When you end up having a lot of investigations, that could end up manifesting and breeding some other type of, they call it low-level demonic, to just manifest and grow from all of it, because they're seeing all of this activity and they get attracted to it. So they can just kind of form out of it. But I mean, that's something that's investigated a lot. I mean, I've heard of stuff like that happening. I'm not that well versed in the whole thing, but I have heard about it. So
right.
I don't know. I didn't really get anything like that there. But the basement, the guy down there, would definitely want to be considered something like that, because he doesn't want anybody down there. So
yeah, it's something about that back room. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can feel it. Like right when you go in there, that ghost tube went. I was letting him know that we were going to go in there, and it came off and it said back. Like I didn't even walk in there, and it's like get back, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm overnight, so I'm going to come in here later. But,
Yep. Yeah. I love that basement. It's kind of. I think it's kind of fun.
I've certainly heard theories and other people talk about the potential that demons manifest as children for the obvious reasons, because it's innocent and it's, sucks you in. But to leave that aside for a moment, tell us a little bit more about the shadow person manifestation, because that always is fascinating as well.
So I wasn't there for this during this evening or that evening, but there was an event, and the group they were all in the kids' room at the end of the hallway on the second floor, and somebody took a picture down the hallway, and when you zoom in, you see a full body shadow person, excuse me, with glowing eyes. And I mean, it's just full body. There's also a full body shadow. Well, there's a full, I don't know if he's full, but he takes the whole door frame inside the kids' room, like leaning out the door. No glowing eyes, but it is definite. You can see like half of his body, you see his arm, and he just takes up like the whole door frame. And what's interesting is that there was an article that Mrs. Girardi did in, I want to say 2011 with, I think the Kansas City Star or Channel 9 News. I don't know which one, but they all saw a shadow person at that end of the hallway too, which is kind of cool that it was there before. So people aren't thinking it's something I brought in like Esmeralda or something else, but it obviously, I guess it's been there. I don't know if the shadow person with the glowing eyes is the same shadow person that was leaning out of the kids' room, but there's also a little boy shadow person that was captured leaning out of the break room, like peeking around the corner.
Yeah, that one's freaky.
That one's a little freaky. And that one, I don't know. I don't have any of these gifts that I tell people I can hear in the dark. That's it. That's my gift. So I'm like, that's all I could do. But so why I believe that's really a kid, I just do. I don't know. I can't explain it, but something about the little girl voice just
Yeah.
seemed like it wasn't. I
Yeah.
don't know. Hmm.
You never know. Well, actually, where you saw because you showed us, I think you showed us the picture of it. You have those little dolls right next at the end of the hallway too.
Yeah, the little dolls at the end of the hallway, weird spot to put them, but there's a little boy doll that I got at an
Mhm.
oddity store in Omaha, and a creepy, cute nun doll that's sitting right
Mhm.
next to him, right outside the bathroom door. Why not? I don't know. Um, but a few people, quite a few people have told me that they've seen a kid peek his head around the break room, which is around that same area. And
Mhm.
I was at the house. A group asked me to stay, so I did. And he took a picture and he was like, "Oh my God, look at this." And you can see a little boy poking his head, or I'm assuming a little boy. I don't know. It's about the same
It
size
looked
as
like
the
a little
little,
boy.
it did. It's the
Mhm.
same size of the little boy that I have standing outside the bathroom door, just like poking his head around the
Mhm.
corner. And it's like, what are you doing? But yeah. So I've been told there's lots of
That's
children there. I don't know who all these children are. I'm assuming maybe it's from the boarding house. I don't know. I have no idea because other than a 4-day-old infant, I don't know of any children that passed away there.
so after the family that ended up inheriting it from his second wife, because it was with that family, right? So in between that and the Girardis, it was a boarding house. Is that what it
So
was, or
well, it's after
or
Charles committed suicide in
okay?
1916. I'm sorry, 1922. Then his uncle Charles sold it, and it was a boarding house from 1925 to 1952. And then in 52,
Oh,
Goldie bought the house, and Goldie lived there by herself from 1952 to 1969. And the Girardis bought the
okay.
house from Goldie in 69. Mr. and Mrs. Girardi both passed away in the home, and their 4 kids inherited the house. And then I bought the house from them in 2018.
Yeah. Hmm. That would be interesting to know what all happened with the boarding house, though. He probably have a lot of. Hmm.
I still dig things up. Like, that's where I found the 4-day-old infant passed away.
Mhm.
But yeah, getting names of people and then trying to find if anything happened. Because unless something happened, I mean, I can get the owners' names, but the owners didn't live there. So I can
Yeah.
get, like, unless something happened to Betty who broke her arm at 1301 Kansas Avenue, I don't
Yeah.
know
Well,
what
it's got to be
happened.
documented. Yeah.
Now, there was a lady there yesterday. Was she there yesterday? I think she was there yesterday. And she said that her family, I think it was her grandma, lived there when it was a boarding house, but she
Hmm.
didn't have any information. So that's all I got.
Oh,
So, but that's still interesting that she said, I think it was her grandma, but in the early 50s. Now it's Goldie bought it in 52. So,
it's
but she
right
said that
before.
she did live there.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because the basement, I'm
Yeah.
always just kind of figure out why there's so many different rooms, and if the basement was used for
I know it's
rooms
sad.
as
I mean,
well. I don't
I'm
know.
like, and it's funny because I'm like, 7 rooms, it's weird. I've asked people who, like, when people walk down, they're like, "Oh, this is like grandma's basement." I'm like, "Oh, did she have 7? Did she have a lot of rooms like this?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, then how's it like grandma's basement?" But everyone says it smells like grandma's basement. I guess it does smell like a basement. But
Oh,
7
that was
rooms.
yeah. I just thought of something. Sorry.
Oh no. So I don't
Remember
know.
when when
Hmm.
when David kept saying he smelled dirty socks?
Hmm.
Every
Oh my
time we
God.
had activity in that room, he would get a big whiff of dirty socks.
And it's so funny he
And
said that.
yeah, that
Cracks
was
me up.
during my Estes, and then we
Yes.
moved to the other room, and I recorded you with your Estes, and then what was it? David goes, "Gosh, I smell dirty socks again. I can smell it." You know, he started to freak out, and he cracked me up. And then you said on the Estes, your portion was look up, and David's like, "Ah," and that's when he got the big whiff of it.
Oh my
So
God.
crawling man on the ceiling,
Oh, could be.
look up.
It's funny
Yeah.
he said dirty socks because, and I may not have said this, I may have said this when you were under, but I was in the library. God, I want to say it was a couple years ago. But there were 3 of us there, and I said, "It smells like dirty socks." And I go, "Do you guys not smell it?" And the other two girls did not smell it. I'm like, "Really? You don't smell dirty socks?" I'm like, "Okay, maybe it's me. Maybe my feet stink. My feet smell. That's all it is." And then I played the recorder back, and something goes, "Dirty socks." And I'm like, "Okay."
What?
It was crazy. So when he said, he's the only other person that has ever smelled dirty socks that I know of,
Yeah.
other than me.
I never smelled it. That's the thing. I probably never got my smell back from COVID, but I never smelled the dirty socks.
I didn't
But
smell it that night either, but
he was smelling it. I mean, he must have that Claire, the not is it Claire sentient? It's one up, not that one. There's a Claire one where you can smell things. So maybe he was
so
tapping
funny.
into that or something.
I swear I thought he was so brave. I'm like,
No, he would only do it if we were with him. I mean, he wouldn't have gone downstairs for nothing by himself.
"Oh, yes,"
No
because he
way.
was like, "I'm gonna put this camera in the basement." I go, "Okay," and he just stood there, and I'm like, "Okay," and he goes, "Yeah, I'm like, "Which room are you gonna put it in?" "I don't know. Which room should I put it in?" I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe the
He was-
back room." He goes, "Okay," and he just stood there, and I'm like, "Are you gonna go?" It just never went.
No, he was good at disguising it. That was true.
He was
I mean,
very
I could
good.
see it early on. I'm like, okay, you want me to go with you? All right, I'll go with you. And I would go downstairs by myself, and then he's just like, "You went by yourself?" Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's what I do. People are like, "You're doing that by yourself?" I'm like, "Yep."
You got
Yep.
to. Yeah.
You have to.
You don't want them to know. I mean, like, even if you are a little
know.
afraid, you still can't let them know.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm by myself and if I'm
Yeah,
not
it's a little
doing
different.
something, it's a little different. It just
Mhm.
feels different. Like
More
sometimes I
vulnerable.
won't even go up. I won't even go upstairs. I'm just like, no,
Mhm.
I'm staying right here in the TV room. I'll have the TV going. I have my headphones on. I'll talk to myself. I'm like, I want to hear nothing. So, yeah.
Yep, I understand that.
As someone who has regular experiences because you own a haunted location, I'm guessing you must sometimes, Steph, think, why do these things hang around? Why are they here? Is there any insight or any theory you've developed over the years?
No. I haven't. I don't even think I've asked. I don't. I'm so horrible. I'm not. Other people ask, like, why are you still here? Or I just really want to get scared. I don't, so I don't ask. I really don't ask. I guess I just assume that it's John McInteer, or I assume it's Goldie because her chair, or I assume it's Charles because he committed suicide. I don't, but I don't really ask. I don't know. Maybe I probably should. My dad used to tell me, make friends with them. I'm like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
make friends in real life, Dad. So I can't. I'm not gonna do it. But so maybe I should. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah. Just get a little trust factor and respect going on, and then they'll,
4.5
you'd
years. I'm
think.
sure I should like go be friends. But I mean, I do go in and say, "Hi, how was the group last night?"
Yeah.
I don't need a
Talk to the
response.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't need a
Yeah.
response. I'm good. So, like, so I just, like, today I put the recorder in the bathrooms before the group got there. And I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" And shut the door. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I hope that they say something. And for the
Yeah.
most part, they do. And it's mostly screaming at me. So I
Mhm.
guess now that I'm saying this, I guess I should go in and make some friends with the ghosts.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll stop screaming.
Yeah, I put one in that bathroom, and I'm still waiting. So I don't know if the one that you have must be more sensitive. I mean, I don't know the whole thing, but it's just I'm still patiently waiting to see if something will pop up on it, but I haven't gotten anything out of it. And maybe they just like to mess with yours more than anything.
Well, the recorders I have are those, and I call them stupid because they're stupid, expensive, stupid recorders. The Panasonic
Okay.
DR60s that Some people love, some people hate. I like them. I think the price is dumb, but so they stopped making them in the 90s, and I guess you can get them for a very inexpensive price of like $3,500 on eBay, which I didn't pay. But I guess they are super sensitive, and it is kind of nice when nothing seems to be happening. At least for the most part, though, they will pick up something. I'd rather it be like when you hear the cat and it's not my recorder and it's from yours, things like that. Or when he saw a cat, I'd rather it be things like that than just because it seems to be a lot of screaming. Sometimes it is clear, like the F what, and then an idiot erases it. So
I try to figure out that recorder because you let us use it, and so I put one actually right in the entryway. Probably where that same lady put hers, where that table's at, because I was sleeping right there on that couch. And the whole time I could just feel just somebody there,
that might have been because normally if I'm there, I think we established that I'm loud and it picks up my voice very easily. And I didn't hear my voice on that. So that might have actually been when you guys were asleep, because I didn't hear any voices, and it's normally if you can hear me. So that might have actually been when you guys were asleep.
Yeah. I remember it was on, that's all I can remember, it was 23 and 24. And I got a hold of that thing and I'm like, how do I play this thing back? I even went on Google and I'm like, how does this work? So I'm hitting buttons and I'm like, well, I don't want to erase anything. David couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, well, I'll ask Steph later. See if he can figure it out.
He figured out my phone. That's so funny.
He fixed that for you. Your messenger. Yeah. He's good at that stuff. But no, Panasonic, he was like, I don't know.
So that might have actually been because I noticed I had accidentally erased some. So I went and I saved the other so I wouldn't erase them. So and that you can't hear me at all. So I don't think it's when I was there. It might have been that talking and yelling might have been when you guys were trying to sleep.
Could have been, because at the end you could hear a little get out, but it wasn't like super screaming like I've heard on yours.
I know.
Gosh, it's kind of scary.
The other day it said like shut the F up, which okay. I get shushed. I get told to shut up. It's all good. Okay, I'm gonna go make friends with them. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Well,
just like, do you guys need anything? Yeah,
I know.
You were such fun to talk to, Steph. I know why Jen had such an amazing time at the McInteer Villa and hanging out with you. But before I get ready to sign off, I should throw it back to Jen to see if she has a final question or anything.
Oh gosh, we've gone through a whole bunch.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'm just ready to go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, how do people get a hold of you, Steph, and how do they find out more about the McInteer Villa?
Well, they can get on Facebook or Instagram. I think they're both under the 1889 McInteer Villa. The website, don't judge. I did it myself and it's stupid. Looks like crap, but it's 1889McInteerVilla.com. It does have the calendar on there, so people can see like what dates are open. But mostly Facebook and Instagram at the 1889 McInteer Villa.
Oh, excellent. I think your website's great as well. I've been there, so I don't think you shouldn't be apologizing for it.
Thank you. Thank you. So embarrassed.
But I'm serious. You were so much fun to talk with. So I'm sure we'll get you back on the show one day.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And until we do, I'm not sure whether you should make friends with those entities or not, but be careful regardless. And please keep it weird.
Thank you.
Keep it weird. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're interested in checking out more episodes, you can find us at talkingweird.com. If you haven't already, please like the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talking Weird Podcast. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to Talking Weird. We're available on most podcast platforms and YouTube. And if you do enjoy the show, please leave us a review. Dean and I would really appreciate it.